the Super Mario Maker Podcast, Episode 1. I'm your host, N64 Josh. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the pilot episode. I'm so excited to get this thing started. I am so stoked for Super Mario Maker 2. It's on its way. 1 month, and we'll be creating stages and playing them on the Nintendo Switch, and I cannot wait. Right now, I'm playing on my Wii U, and I'm playing on my 3DS, 2DS XL, actually. And, you know, I'm tired of playing with a D-pad that's the size of a Lucky Charm, if you know what I'm saying. So, before we get the show started, just a couple announcements. All right, so if you'd like to join the N64Josh Discord, you can go to n64josh.com/Discord. That's your invite there. The subreddit is n64josh.com/r, just the letter R. And the Facebook group, n64josh.com/Facebook group. Guys, the point of this, one of the points of this show is community, right? So that we can come together, and those are the main places that I try to hang out with people online: Discord, subreddit, and the Facebook group. So we'd love to have you come and hang out in any of those, whatever, wherever you like best. Those seem to be the best places so far. So that's it for the announcements. We're gonna move on over to the talking points. All right, so first off, this is the pilot episode. I want to let you guys know who I am. I am N64 Josh. I am a Nintendo content creator, a Nintendo fan for over, most of my life. I think when I was 5 when I first got a controller, when I first touched the Nintendo controller and played The Legend of Zelda. I was supposed to be swimming, but instead I was playing The Legend of Zelda because all I had played up to that point was the arcade and Atari, and I couldn't believe the colors I was seeing on a television screen. It blew me away. And then a few months later, I got my Nintendo Entertainment System with Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, and the rest is history. I have been a fan ever since. Let's talk about the purpose of this show. Guys, we're going to talk about Mario Maker news. We're in the thick of news, right? We just had a direct. That's what we're going to cover in episode 2. We have E3 coming up. The game is going to be released in a month. I imagine there's going to be updates. There's lots to speculate on. So, we'll talk about news. I also want a big focus of this show to inspire creativity in level creation, okay? So that we can talk about what it is to make a good level in Mario Maker. And I want to hear you guys in this. Like, this may be a solo show with just me, but I want to hear from you guys, right? So I'll have posts up on n64josh.com that will ask questions and give you a chance to let your voice be heard. Okay, because we all know that there's a lot of bad levels created in Super Mario Maker. And I know a lot of people actually haven't played, but that tends to be the case. People look at everything they have and they're like, I'm going to throw 150 Hammer Brothers in front of this flagpole and let Mario figure it out. It's really, really kind of poor level design, right? And so we're going to get into what makes a good level and talk about the mindset, right? And I've got some posts up already on n64josh.com that cover this stuff, and I'll refer back to them and things like that. I'm also focusing on putting up lots of YouTube content and doing different guides. Today, I had a guide go up for shell jumps, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. But so a big part of this is to inspire creativity in level creation, right? To better understand level design, what makes a good level? What makes it fun for the player? What makes the player want to continue playing it to get to the end? What can reward them along the way? Okay, and so we're going to get into that in just a little bit too, but another purpose of this show is to feature different creators, right? So if you find yourself making some really killer levels, I want you to send them to me. And then I'm going to play them, possibly record them, showcase them on my YouTube channel, talk about them here on this show, and post links to like the top 5 creators for the week or top 3 creators for the week. I just got to see how my schedule is going to work out and how much I can do. But that's kind of the idea, is to help you guys get your creations out there as well. That's another focus of this show. So that's kind of where it's at, to talk about creation, to give pointers if you want to get into like Kaizo stuff, the real tricky like expert and super expert levels, that kind of stuff. We want to talk about that as well. And then to feature different creators. And that doesn't just mean like that means anybody. Right? If you send me a level, and I know I'm going to get a lot of levels, and I'm going to do my best to keep up with them, and we're just going to have to see how this whole thing goes. But I'm excited to get to play good levels, because that's what the goal is here, is that we put out quality levels. Okay. So let's get into our next talking point here, which is the mindset of level creation. So where do we start, right? Because I'm not a game designer, right? I'm not a level designer. So the first place you can start, especially if you're a Switch owner, is by going into your Nintendo. And if you have Nintendo Switch Online, go to your classic NES games, play Super Mario Brothers, play Super Mario Brothers 2 even, play the Lost Levels, play Super Mario Brothers 3. What makes those games fun? What was unique about the levels? What happened at different places that made you smile? What do you notice about coins? Okay, there's certain things that I kind of want you to focus on. For instance, let's talk about the first level in Super Mario Brothers 3. Okay, it starts off and there's some question mark blocks. You get your mushroom. Okay, then you go a little further and you see a Koopa making his way back and forth on one of the stage, just on one of the blocks, right, or one of the different levels. And if you step on him, get the shell and kick it into the question mark block, the leaf pops up. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so this is that's kind of cool, a little different. I remember, I mean, it's stuck in my mind as something that that was really cool. Not something I don't think we did anything really like that in Super Mario Brothers 1. There wasn't a lot of question mark blocks low that you'd kick the shell into. So this is new. Okay. Here's this leaf, right, that gives you the raccoon tail and the raccoon ears. And there's a row of coins that are going up at an angle. So you take out the Goombas and then you get the speed that you need and you fly up the way the coins, the direction of the coins, and it takes you to a place that has an extra life. So the coins were used as a way to guide the player, to direct the player. And this is still a part of good level design even now. Using coins to direct the player where you want to go. So here's the thing. I recently created a level on Super Mario Maker on the Wii U, and it's basically an impossible level. I mean, I think one person has beat it due to the fact that I left one too many invisible blocks. And I did everything wrong with this level. I didn't use any coins to help the player. I put invisible blocks, Kaizo blocks everywhere that caused frustrating deaths. This is not the kind of level we want to go for. You want to create levels that teach and reward the player. Okay. And so just keep that in mind. It's okay to show people where to go with your coins, with arrows. It's part of the game. You want the player to have fun. That's what our end result here is fun. Does that mean it can't be challenging? No, you definitely want it to be challenging. But you're going to run into all different levels of players. You're going to run into people that only play the easy levels, and then you're going to play the people that love the super expert levels. But even super expert levels need to be fun, and they need to teach the player where to go. Cheap deaths will result in no stars for your level and the lack of people enjoying it. The player wants to have fun. Okay, so use your coins, use your arrows, lead the player where he needs to go or she needs to go, and create something awesome. Why am I bringing this up? Well, I've had a lot of people tell me I'm not creative, I'm not going to make any good levels. And I say you're missing out on a huge part of the fun. I mean, look, ever since I was 10 years old, I wanted to be able to sit and make video games. And Mario Maker allows that to happen to a certain extent. It allows me to create Mario levels. This is a dream come true, right? And all it takes is just kind of like just breaking it down. Break down each section of your level. What do you want the player to accomplish? What do you want to teach them that they can use later on? Or what do you want to reward them with for getting to that point? Is there extra lives? Is there coins? Have you set in Mario Maker 2, we're going to have the you have to complete certain things in order to complete the course, X amount of coins, things like that. What is it that can reward the player, that can make the player excited to keep moving forward? And just kind of think about these things, right? But like I said, just break it down to the early, to just break the problem down. You say you aren't creative. Okay. So don't worry about the start to the finish. Let's look at the journey along the way. Create the first section. Think about the old games. Like I said, use them for inspiration. Look at the beginning of Super Mario Brothers 1, the first game. There was a Goomba. Most players ran straight to the right because they were used to doing that on Atari or in the arcades, and they ran right into that Goomba and it killed them. That Goomba in the beginning of Mario 1 is probably responsible for more of Mario's deaths than any other character in a Mario game, period. But it taught the player, jump. Then, what are these question mark blocks? You hit them. Coin pops. Okay, cool. Hit another one. Oh, there's a mushroom in this. Do I touch this? Do I not touch it? I wonder how many people jumped over it and didn't touch it because they were afraid it would kill them like the Goomba did. But it didn't look as menacing. It didn't have eyes. It looked different, right? So you grab this mushroom. Now you're big. Now, if you read the instruction booklet, of course, you probably knew that as well. So now the player feels powerful, right? They feel bigger. They've already stomped one of these Goombas. Now they're bigger. They can break blocks. Let's go stomp some more Goombas, right? And just make their way through the level. And now there's an area with a little pit, and there's actually a hidden 1-up, right? Where a lot of times those hidden blocks, the Kaizo blocks, are now used as a way to frustrate players or cause cheap deaths. Their original intent was to reward players for exploring. And so early on, right before you get to this little gap you have to jump, if you happen to jump, you're going to find a 1-up hidden right there. Now you're already ahead of the game. Maybe you made up for that life that you lost at the Goomba, right? The game has rewarded you. It's fun. This is the main focus to think about. How can the end user have fun with this? If you have to get it out of your system and create some really trolly level, I totally get it, right? I totally get it because, I mean, look, I just recently did it. It was a lot of fun, but it really didn't allow the player to have fun. It just left them scratching their heads and wondering where to go constantly. As I think about it now, I think of all the different things I could go back into that level to actually make it enjoyable and teach the player where they need to go to be able to complete it. It's a tough level, but I think with direction, it could actually be an enjoyable tough level because I enjoyed completing it. I felt like I had accomplished something because it was difficult, but I also knew where everything was. And so one thing that I've heard a lot of people say, if you spend any time on YouTube looking for creation tips, things like that, is have somebody test a level for you. If you have kids or you have a sibling or you have a spouse or a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, have them play your level. See if they enjoy it. Is it fun for them? If it is, then there you go. If they say, no, I got stuck right here, I didn't understand what was happening, rethink it a little bit. Can you add some direction? Did they say any areas felt frustrating? Can you rework those? It's great to have somebody test it for you. And even if it needs to be somebody online, but if you can do it before you upload it, I think I think you'll definitely benefit from that and not having to go back to the drawing board so often, So find somebody to test your levels for you. Have a buddy come over, whatever. Have them test your levels. Don't be intimidated because it's really easy looking at all of the things you can do. And it's like, I don't know where to start. Just start simple. Think about Super Mario Brothers. Recreate levels like that are just simple and fun to go through because you get power-ups, you feel strong, you get the star, you get to run through things, you teach the player new, ways to move around the stage, new power-ups, things like that. Now, obviously, we aren't going to be seeing the new power-ups, right? Because this is a game that we've all been playing, or games we've been playing for many years. But I still like the rush of getting a fire flower or getting a star when I'm playing the game, because I know it gives me a moment to like take a breath and just run through everything, right? And maybe you throw extra enemies and a star so that it's kind of fun, just mowing everything down. It can be very enjoyable. So don't be intimidated. Just take it one step at a time. Start simple. And then who knows where it can go, because that's really the reason I really am wanting to encourage people to create levels, is because it means there's so much more to this game. There's so much more content there when you're doing more than just playing. Don't get me wrong. There's tons of levels to play. The community is going to be massive, something like 40 million Switches in the wild. This game's going to be huge. It's going to be huge, and there's going to be tons of content. But it's fun, stepping back and looking at something you've created. And it's kind of like anything that we create that takes time. Like for instance, like a painting, right? You are in control of each stroke, and you literally see an image come to life in front of you as each brushstroke hits the canvas. And that's kind of, in a way, I know this is a video game versus a painting, but it's kind of how it is with this maker game. Is you get to create something awesome. You can create levels that help people learn how to do certain things, tutorial levels. That's what I've been working on recently. You can create puzzle levels that, the player has to figure out. Like I watched a level recently where the giant mushroom was involved, right? And when Mario gets this giant mushroom, he can walk through unbreakable bricks. And so what would happen is this mushroom would show up, but if you didn't get back down to an area quick enough and lead that mushroom to you, you weren't able to continue through the spot. So you had to lead the power up to where you were so that you would be able to continue on. And so there's so many options and so many things that you'll be missing out on if you don't take the time just to learn creation. You may not create the best level ever at first, but that's okay. I mean, if you think back on anything you've ever done, drawing, painting, whatever, coding, whatever it is that you do, the more time you've spent with it, the better you've got. Playing a musical instrument, it's all kind of the same. Practice does make perfect, right? So create levels, no matter how bad they are. Just get started. Just try. Create simple levels that you enjoy playing. See if somebody else enjoys them. And then see what happens. Watch other creators, play other levels, see what inspires you. One of the things that intrigues me is creating levels that are strictly flying levels, like in Super Mario Land, where, Mario was in the little plane the entire time, or the little submarine. Well, we can do things like that with the clown cars that fire fireballs and things like that. So, where you're going against nothing but flying enemies, or enemies that are in the parachute now with the upgrades to Super Mario Maker 2. That kind of stuff is really intriguing to me, and I'm excited to play with that. We've got water levels in the moon. Like, there's so much room for creativity with this game that it's really the sky's the limit, and I'm really excited about that, and I don't want to see anybody miss out on it. So that's why I'm encouraging you, even when the game comes out. If you don't have access to Mario Maker now, when the game comes out, don't overthink it. Just create. Get your initial, throw everything on the stage, create something that's really goofy and not that fun. Get that out of your system, and then try to create some levels, and just stick with it. Maybe create a level a week, maybe create a level over a month that has puzzles and things like that. Watch other videos, be inspired by people. Get involved with this community that we're going to have. That's going to, help people create other levels. We could probably test levels for each other and things like that. So, I really just hope you can get the most out of this game by not only playing levels, but by creating them as well. And I'm excited to see what you will create. So with that, I want to jump to the next section here, which is shell jumps, which is what I've been working on this weekend. All right. So shell jumps are exactly that. They are jumps that you need a shell to perform. So 3 basic shell jumps. You just have like your basic shell jump, which is going to be you grab a shell, you throw it into the side of a pipe or a wall or something, and then you jump off of it in order to increase the height of your jump. Okay, that's just a basic shell jump. Now I have a YouTube video and a guide on n64josh.com right now. I'll have a link to it in the show notes so you can go and check it out if you'd like. See the video, see what I was doing. Okay, because 2 of these, the basic shell jumps, pretty simple, right? They're not that difficult. It's just a matter of getting the timing down, and that's really all this stuff is. But some of them are a little more advanced. So your standard shell jump, you're bouncing the shell off of something and then using it to gain extra height. Your second, like basic shell jump, would be as if you have a bed of spikes that is further than Mario is able to jump. You can ricochet a shell off of a pipe, a wall, whatever. And that's what I encourage people to create. I create these little mini practice areas. So you can even do it on your 2DS. If you can't download something, you can create these stages real quick and then be able to practice these techniques. And so this is just a matter of bouncing something off of a pipe, off a wall, and then timing your jump so that as the shell goes under you, you jump off of it, miss the spikes, and you increase the length of Mario's jump. Okay, and then the last thing would be the mid-air shell jump. Okay, this is the most advanced technique there is. This one is the most difficult to pull off. Okay, and what you're going to do, and I'm going to explain it on here, but I really suggest going and watching the video and maybe even looking for other videos so you can find what works best for you. But what you're going to do is you're going to jump in the air. Okay, you're going to be running, holding Y, you're having a shell in your hand, and you're going to jump, and you're going to flick to the left. You're going to continue moving. When you flick to the right before, you're going to slide your thumb down from Y onto the jump button. That's what I do anyway, so that I'm always holding the jump button. You don't want to let off. You slide down to the jump button, hit right, and hold right on your D-pad, and then you're going to hit the shell. If you've done this correctly, you're going to hit the shell and it's going to increase your jump significantly right in the middle of right midair. And so tough to pull off, very, very satisfying when you do. I've probably practiced, I'm guessing, around 2 hours, and I've pulled it off one time. Thankfully, I was recording, so when I made my video, I was able to show it off, but I've pulled it off one time, and I'm just going to continue and the way I practice this stuff is I grind. I just run it over and over and over again. I play it in the creative mode. Okay. So that means if I play it in the creative mode, so that way I can easily get back to starting the game again, right? I can, if I pause and hit edit and then play, it immediately resets the level. I don't have to wait for anything to load, wait for another life, go back to the beginning of the stage. I'm right where I've been playing. That's where I leave it. And that's where I go. So that's what I like doing. Some people aren't like me though. Some people like to run through a level working on stuff so they feel like they've accomplished something. They might get a little bored. I understand. I'm more about let's get this muscle memory down. Let's do this slow. Let me do this button combination slower so that I can learn it and then increase the speed of it. Kind of like I've done this with playing guitar. I've done this with playing drums. You just do things really slow and then speed it up and see what happens. So eventually get stuff figured out, and it helps. It's good. So that is going to do it for this episode of Super Mario Maker Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at N64Josh. Please come join all the different groups, Discord, Facebook, subreddit. I'd love to connect with you. Let me know. Head on over to the show notes at n64josh.com/SMMP1. Let me know what you think. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye now.